Welcome to Buried Talent, the show for young professionals that tears down false beliefs about faith and work so you can unbury your God-given talent right where you are. I'm Ken Freire here with Patrick Lowndes, and today we're talking about the 5 fears that stop Christian professionals from living out their calling and how to break free. And Patrick, the reason we are talking about this is because I think a lot of people sense a global calling. They want to do something bigger than themselves, not just locally, but they see all the stuff going on around the world and they're like, how can I help? How can I bring transformation and work alongside other cultures? But they don't know how to do it because they feel stuck in the same job or in the same trajectory. And they keep thinking to themselves, someday I'll be able to do that. But underlying all that is fear that is stopping them. So today we're going to talk about that. We're going to unlock and diagnose what's actually keeping people stuck.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you got it. And unfortunately, we've only put this in a couple different, buckets of here's if I'm a professional, like I basically just have to go and quit my job and do some other kind of traditional ministry type path. And like you've been hanging out with us long enough, we are staunch believers that all the work that you do is sacred to God, right? And so we believe your work in accounting and engineering and marketing is sacred to God, if and only if you'd think about it like that. But today, we're going to what holds you back, where there's 5 fears, can give us the first big fear that holds people back from possibly making a change or leveraging their career or profession to be more impactful. What's probably the number one fear? Go for it.
Yeah, the first one I would say is money, right? They can't afford to go, or you can't risk going somewhere else because you have to provide for your family, right? And you've heard 2 versions of this where it's either, hey, go and be a ministry and support raise. And you're like, well, that looks weird, right? Because for some people are like, why are you not working? And then the other one's like, well, I just might as well just keep working and give a lot of money. But there's a third way of doing it where it's like you can actually afford to help people. And the way you do that is either A, you start something, a business in a new area, or you go join an existing business out there and like they can support you.
Yeah. So I'm also going to talk. I was having lunch with a guy just starting his career out at Amazon, a massive company. Just met with him for lunch this week. And he asked me this question. He's like, Patrick, what do I do about this whole thing about money? And I feel like I should be wanting to make more money, but I also want to be effective. And so a lot of you are still in that phase where you're building experience. And yeah, you should stack some chips. You should make some money while you're doing that. But there comes a point when the Lord will provide enough to where you can continue to see, okay, God's been faithful. Now I'm going to get creative. So it's not to say like don't make money or don't build a steady foundation. You want to have that foundation, but you get to a certain point, and when is enough ever enough, right? All right, let's get to fear number 2, which is no clear path. I don't see how my career fits into any kind of global work. And I would say if that's you, you're like, yeah, I kind of have this desire to be about God's work. Go listen to the last episode, 31, where we were just talking about the 4 different kinds of mindset and global Christian professionals. Because not everyone's got this, surely not everyone's got the same role, right? And so what you got to figure out is what's my role and how does my particular skill set and what is God, the word calling is literally God is calling to me. He's like calling out. And so God has a specific direction for each of us, and it's going to unfold and change over time. So if you don't see a clear path, go back to 31 and listen to those. There's 4 of them. It's a marketplace ambassador. You're mostly focused here locally. It's a global advocate. I still got my day job, but I'm trying to do more work and helping overseas and around the world. Global operator, that's the 3rd one. That's where I'm going to shift my daily work to be more focused around the world. And then 4 is frontier operator. I'm actually going to go help operate companies, start and or operate companies in the frontier, like moving myself across the world. So that's the second one, no clear path. But there is a clear path. I just told you the 4 different paths. So if you want to learn about that, hang out with us. We'll show you what that looks like. That's fear number 2.
Yeah. Well, and let me just add with fear number 2 is that lots of times people don't know how to get there. They're like, okay, cool. I'm a global operator, but now what do I do? How do I make that happen? Or a frontier operator, how do I make that happen? Well, that's part of the reason why we created the Forge, just to actually give you a really clear path, the proper training and the proper network for you to actually be able to go if that's where you want to go. Let's talk about fear number 3, not everyone has this fear, but it is a fear. It's career damage. They feel like if I actually go pursue something that is really on my heart, either a passion or just decide to go work overseas, that might affect me if I come back to the States and want to work somewhere. People may look at that negatively.
Yeah, you nailed it. That's right. And so, thinking about just for a second, if you ran a company or a division or did something internationally in another market and had any kind of success doing that, I would actually argue that is a career bump. It shows that like you've got some street cred that you were able to go over to another part of the world and actually still produce, which means it implies your ability to fit in and to adapt what you know from potentially an American context or North American context to that side of the world. All right. Number four, I might not be skilled enough. This is the tricky one. So you might say, hey, I'm, maybe in the first 5 years of my career, or hey, I've only done this one thing. I'm not really sure, like, what could God do with this one skill set? I mean, I think of it like the little boy with, the two fish and the five loaves. Like, this is all I got. Like, now what? And I know like pastors will turn that into a big sermon of just bring God your fish and your loaves. I mean, Dallas Jenkins, like the fish and the loaves production. I get that. I know it's overused, but let me tell you, God can take the domain skill set that you have and use that skill set if just put towards a more purposeful endpoint. So, for example, if you just are really good at one thing, there's actually tons of opportunities and ways to plug in. On our community, we actually talk about on the global switchboard.io. So if you go to Switchboard, it's called globalswitchboard.io. You can find tons of opportunities to use your skill set to help people on the other sides of the world. Oh my goodness. Yes, a Zoom link. Hop on a Zoom link and you can help somebody with graphic design on their site because they're horrible at it and you're like pretty good at it. Or someone hates accounting and like you love QuickBooks. Like, oh my goodness, that's an amazing way. So you'd be surprised with the skills that you have, how much good you can do with them. So you're not skilled enough. I think the better to rephrase that is you actually just don't see the opportunities of where your skills could be placed. That's how you should be thinking about it. Ken, get us to number five and then we'll bring it home.
Yeah. Number five is, and this one might not affect everyone, but it's family. What does this do to my spouse, my kids, my family stability? It's one thing for you to go out there and you might be like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm gung ho. I'm the one who's adaptable. I'm the one who can change. But I don't know if I want to put my family through this. So you're concerned about like kids' education, their friendships, your spouse. What are they going to do? It almost feels like your family is moving just for the thing that you want to do, but it's not a mission for the family, right? So now your spouse is like at home and just chilling in a country with no one to talk to, no one to hang out with, and they're trying to live life. It's difficult, right?
Yeah.
But the truth is that the reframe that you need is that this is not just a you thing, it is a family thing. And you
Yeah.
want your family on board, and your family could drastically see amazing transformation within your nuclear network, meaning your nuclear family. Because you just build better bonds, you build different strengths, you learn to grow, you learn to connect. Uh, and you'd be surprised how hospitable other cultures are. Like, let's be real, American culture is very individualistic and not very
Yeah.
hospitable. Two-thirds
That's
of the
right.
world, what I would actually argue, are way more hospitable than we are.
Yeah.
The South is pretty hospitable, but we are not a very hospitable group of people.
Yeah. Now, where to get help with this? We tell folks in our program. So, a lot of people in our program are, many of them are like just getting married or just been married for a few years, maybe having the first kid. Some people already have kids that are teenagers, right? So, we got people at all ends of the spectrum in our programs. But here's what we usually tell them is your church is literally God's design for the primary discipler of you and your family, right? The elders, pastors at your church, leaders in your church. And so, what we always encourage people to do is say, how is your church helping your family discern a family level calling? And maybe it's just you and your girlfriend right now, or you and your boyfriend, you're thinking about this, or you maybe just got married. And it's like, hey, it's just us. Now what? Right? I would challenge you to say, what is our family vision? Bethany and I do this a lot. We step back and we say, okay, what is our family called to? Like one of them is actually convening people. Like at a family level, we feel like it's part of our family calling to convene people, which For my wife is going to be more like convening the ballet moms and convening the homeschooling families and convening those things. For me, I'm like convening neighborhood and strangers and convening business people and entrepreneurs. And so you can see, even though convening is the family level goal, right? We need to be focused on how are we aligned and have some clarity around what is our family, how is our family part of what God is calling us to do, not just me. And that's kind of a maturity shift. When you get married and you start to build that family, you're like, oh, wait, it's not just me. But at times it will very much feel like there's two separate things here, especially the more kids you pile on there. So, Ken, you want to close us out today and just kind of bring this home?
Yeah. It's funny when you talk about the more kids you had, because if you guys don't know this, Patrick and I both have 5 kids. So it's a
Yeah.
party and it's a lot more to think about sometimes. Like, how does this affect stuff? But one thing I will say is when you trust God and you are living for his kingdom,
Mm.
and your family sees that, it's a beautiful thing. You don't want it to be about just you. It's like, how do I bring everybody in? So all these 5 fears, right? As you think about it, money, no clear path, career damage, not skilled enough, and family, they are fears. Some of them are legitimate, but they all have answers to them. And as long as you keep seeking guidance, you keep seeking truth, and you keep listening to the podcast, if it's helpful for you, you will be able to break through those fears by trusting in God and saying, well, you know what, Lord? I'm going to do what you called me to do and trust that he's going to supply for every need as you're going out and impacting other people. So with that being said, keep operating, keep living out in your God-given design, and keep working for his glory. Hope you guys have a great day, and God bless.